Good evening, my Trues Clues aficionados. I wanted to reach out to you with a little, I guess, two-part series that I'm putting out here. I did one part of it with an interview and decided I should do this part first to explain what got me into doing the second part of the video. And what I wanted to talk to you about is coercive control. There are four main factors in coercive control. And the number one thing is limiting autonomy. In other words, restricting your transportation, taking your keys away, keeping you away from your friends, not being able to communicate when you want to get out, basically being at this person's whim about where and how and what you do, and when you go and how you're going to go, if you get to go and do anything at all. And another thing that these people like to do is they like to isolate you. And a good way of isolating you is devaluing you and your friends so that they can break it up and keep you away from everybody. Because, as I said, isolation is important to be able to beat down your self-esteem and get you in the position that they want you, because you are basically an appendage to them, like an arm or a leg. And secondary, they will monitor you. They will track you. And with the electronics being what they are right now, they will definitely track you. Those iPod devices that they have, they'll get those, they'll put them somewhere hidden on your car or something like that, so that they can monitor what you're doing and see where you're going. I saw a recent crime video about a man who had his mistress following his wife to try to prove that his wife was having an affair on him. Regardless of what he was doing, he wanted to hold her accountable, and she wasn't. And he wouldn't even believe the mistress when she told him, "Hey, this lady's not having a um affair on you." He went and he broke into her car because they were broke up at the time, and he put recording devices in her car and was still unable to prove that she was doing anything wrong. But once they get it in their head that, they can justify how they treat you by this way of answering the question, that's what they keep using, is you brought this on me. You made me do it. Boy, if you ever hear somebody say, "I'm sorry for treating you badly, but if you hadn't XYZ," run as quickly as possible. Many women don't know that they're under electronic surveillance at the time either. The coercive person isn't going to say anything because they're too busy trying to keep track of what you're doing. They can't do that if they let the dog out of the bag and let you know what's going on. Not the dog, I guess it's the cat. Number three, intimacy is used as power and control in this situation, getting you to do things sexually that you don't want to do, telling you, it's just one time, making you engage in an activity that you feel uncomfortable with or degraded by. But it's not only one time, it will continue, and it will get worse. They will continue to, belittle you and make you feel bad about your sexual choices with them. But then if you don't give them what they want, that's a problem as well. So really, you're in a win, no win situation as far as that goes. And that's horrible. I mean, oh my gosh, it is so horrible to be put in that situation. And then, a lot of people end up like me and just want to end up alone and don't bother them. Because it's easier to just be alone after you've been fractured so badly like that for so many years, that you just want peace and quiet. You don't want to have to go out of your way to please or make, decisions for somebody else. You just want to live your life quietly and peacefully. And if that means you have to do it alone, then so be it. At least that's where I am right now. So, there's nothing scarier than being with somebody who says that they love you, they care about you, blah, blah, blah. They want to take care of you. And I never bought into that. I've always taken care of myself. I only put myself, but I'm in a short-term position when I had a medical condition for 2 years. And while I was doing that, I was going to school. I was improving myself. I never stopped working towards taking care of myself. However, I think when I look back on it, I could have been the one doing the best at the end of those relationships, and that could have had a lot of how the disrespect turned into kind of like hate. I mean, there was a couple times there that if killing a person wouldn't be against the law, I definitely wouldn't be here. And that's in more than one relationship. And that's why I've just made the decision that I just need to be by myself because I don't want to put myself in a position where I feel like I have to make concessions for another person or concessions because I'm in a relationship. I just am not going to do that anymore. And if it means to be alone, then so be it. And a lot of it for me has to do with this kind of intimacy, this mental health thing, monitoring how you dress, telling you're all that at first and then just tearing you down all the time after that. And this is what happened to another lady. Her name was Hannah Clark. Hannah and her husband had been married for about 10 years. That's the point I usually get to too. And then I just, split under under coercive control most of that time. It doesn't start out at the beginning. It starts out usually, idea happy. You have whatever X amount of time where you have a good time. But when things deteriorate, they deteriorate quickly and it becomes very ugly for you very quickly. And I just want to clarify again, I am coming from a female point of view. I don't have a male point of view that I can come from, but I do want to interject that it can happen to anybody. I'm just speaking from my experience. And he controlled how she looked, what she did. I guess she liked to work out. He totally watched whatever she did, didn't want her engaging in outfits that were too risque, even though wearing risque outfits are usually how they catch you, then they want to shut your activity down and, make you that. Now, is that a wife thing? When you change and you're off the market, are you supposed to then change how you dress? Even though, you're probably dressing the same way that they found you. I'm not sure what to say about that. So I think even me at times have trouble defining what an extremely coercive relationship, but I'll tell you what, you know it when you see it. But defining it is hard because of all the cultural differences and norms that being applied in our society these days. He would push her and push her and push her until she would be at the end of her rope. She'd be ready to bounce. And then he'd come back with this, hey, baby, so sorry kind of bullshit to her. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it really, I can't be without you. Many times at the beginning of my life, it was like, I'll kill myself. I don't have nothing else to do. Or, hey, you're in a relationship. This is what you're supposed to be like. This is what you're going to do. There's just so many control conversations that can be had. And if you're trying to make a relationship work and you're trying to be a 50-50 kind of person, and that person's only getting you to do what they want. They have no intention of ever changing anything. What they do are just enough to get you interested in changing yourself, which is just a guise because those changes are not really real. They're not really in place. And again, they want to keep you isolated, take you away so that they can have you to themselves. Initially, I don't know what they're thinking in their head when they do that. Is that an intentional thing? Or is it a fear factor thing? I've never been able to realize why they have to have you so isolated and alone, unless they're trying at the very beginning to manipulate a circumstance where they can be controlling of you and make you feel beholden to them. The fourth instance of coercive control I have mentioned, it is monitoring your body, monitoring your health, either, watching how you diet, what you wear, what you eat, controlling everything about that part of you. It gives certain people a certain joy to have power over you. They said that R. Kelly would have to give permission to his people or ladies or whatever. They would have to beg to eat or even to go out and use the bathroom. I mean, that whole thing is a perfect example of coercive control. And I think that's what happened to Hannah. Anybody who's been in a situation like that certainly understands. There's been in a relationship where you're trying to do, the whole give you get some, you give, you get, type of thing. But when that works for you, I'm sure it works very well. In my experience, not so much. So the family thought and knew that something was off. They couldn't quite pinpoint what was going on, but there was something, going around there. And once they moved away, just like with me, people started coming forward when we broke up and saying the things that they had witnessed that they thought was really odd and controlling about certain types of behavior in your other half or whatever you want to call him. So that came out to me too. And it was kind of a surprise, but nobody wants to get in the middle of a relationship. I understand that too. And then they certainly don't want to down talk your husband if they don't really know you that well. The ex-wife had complained to the police numerous times about him being coercive. And the ex-wife had the same police department that she had to report to. And of course, this police department didn't do a whole lot to help her or to help Hannah. So a lot of times you depend on law enforcement and they say there's laws not to cover it. I don't know. Do we need more laws or can people just do the right damn thing for a change? Do you need a law for these people? I think so. I'm just not sure what type of laws you need, and I'm not sure that the laws will work, honestly, because a lot of people cover up for their abusers. Cultures cover up for the abusers. I think it's going to be a really difficult situation, as it was for Hannah. So, there's evidence out there that, he was a stalker with the in previous relationships. And when she tried to get away from him, the ex-wife, he ended up kidney punching her at some point in time. And just right out there in front of God and everybody. A bystander saw it and they did call the police. They got a restraining order on him, but he refused to honor it. And the person who got the kidney punch was Hannah. Things had escalated to a point, when you want to get away from them or that they know that you've lost respect for them or whatever it is, they turn on you like a damn viper and you better watch for the incoming storm. And of course, this is the most dangerous time for a woman, as it was for Hannah in this particular instance. And that's why he just attacked her like that and just fucking kidney punched her. And then when they put the restraining order on him, he refused to honor it. Again, they have stalkerish behavior. They'll show up at the weirdest times. They drive by your house. They'll be at your job. They show up where they know you're going to be. And at first you feel like, it's purely coincidental. But then after a certain amount of time, that's bullshit. It's happening on purpose. But then to prove it to somebody is a whole different thing. So they didn't act quickly on it. Nobody was there to help her. Her and her kids were definitely taken away, crossing over to the other side. He doused the vehicle in gas and lit it on fire, and he basically eliminated his whole family in one easy strike of a match. And I guess when he called them and wasn't honoring the restraining order, he was calling the kids. He was extremely emotional. He was crying, and he probably was then, but then he probably turned around and he got really pissed off and he figured, whatever I do, she deserves it. And this is the best way I know how to hurt her. And basically, that's what it is. It's somebody controlling you and wanting the power and control to be able to hurt you or to make you happy, like you're a little bird in the cage or an extension of their body. They'll scratch you when it's an itch. As many times I felt like an appendage, not like a person at all. So that's Hannah's little story. She had a beautiful, beautiful family, left behind many people that love her. It's not a new story to us, but it's a story that continues. So people, please look for the red flags. I mean, if you feel like you're getting love bombed or, there's nothing wrong with slowing down and taking a relationship slower. And if the person that's you have questions about, maybe worried about, does not understand and does not want to listen to your request, there's your message right there. So with that, my true exclusive aficionados, I love you all. Be safe out there. If you see something, say something. And I will see you for the next episode.